Yeah, so the study is basically a report we do every year on the status of the global plug-in electric vehicle market. So it's only looking at battery electric vehicles, so fully electric vehicle or a plug-in hybrid. Basically, it just has to be able to plug into the grid to be encompassed within the study. And it's primarily for consumer or individually owned light-duty vehicles. And so the study is a compendium of all the latest updates in the market, coming from automakers, basically new vehicle announcements, as well as vehicle sales of the past year. And from all those announcements, as well as industry news around vehicle sales, and any trends in battery pricing or changes to the policy surrounding vehicle sales or energy markets, so where oil prices are at. We produce a forecast, and this report presents our forecasts in a number of different scenarios. So this year's forecast was basically an update to our annual forecast, and we extended it to 2030. To provide a longer range understanding of what's going on in the market, and also to give everybody a sense of where we see the market having its inflection point. That is where the point at which the battery electric vehicle goes from being this vehicle that is ideal for a select audience or a portion of the market to being one that is starting to see its potential as a product for all the market.
So let's take a look at your numbers. And now the graph that I'm looking at, which goes out to 2030, has an aggressive case and a conservative case for EV sales on a global basis. And so on the conservative case, we're looking at about 20 million per year by 2030. And on the aggressive case, about 42 million per year. So give us some insight into how you arrived at those numbers.
Our conservative scenario is based on, as you might suspect, more conservative market conditions. So one is the state of oil prices going out into the future. And so in the conservative case, we are thinking that oil prices are actually going to decline marginally between now and 2030. Largely the product of a lot of different forces in the market, concerning either the stability of regions or the supply relative to demand. The additional component to it is where battery prices will be in 2030. So in that conservative case, we're expecting they're going to be, at the top end of our forecast range, around $125 to $150 per kilowatt hour, which is a pretty conservative forecast for battery prices. So that's the low end. Our base case projection is actually closer to the conservative than the aggressive case, largely because we do expect oil prices to be relatively stable through the forecast period out to 2030, as well as we already have a fairly conservative battery price forecast. So it's around 100 to about 120 dollars per kilowatt hour in our base case. In our aggressive, we're adopting really aggressive forecasts on both battery prices and oil prices. Well, actually, a moderate increase on oil prices. I guess you can see that the overall trend here is that we don't really expect a whole lot to change in terms of oil prices, but an increase in the real price of oil. But the major difference is being the battery price forecast. And if we see battery prices get to 75 to $100 per kilowatt hour by 2030, then we should be expecting significant increases in the plug-in electric vehicle market. So those are the core components that are really flexing these different points on our curve.